Hello, YouTubers. I'm back again here on March 24th, 2017. I've got some eBay breaks pickups that I got. Normally, those that watch my videos know I'm always picking up bargains of Red Sox stuff for my nephew, and now and then something for myself of the Cleveland Indians or the Cleveland Browns. Sometimes picking up some basketball for my niece. But these cards here in this little lot I bid on. These are from me and my personal collection. Those that knew me my whole life know I'm a historian and I love American history. I've been researching American history for years. I don't so much anymore because I've pretty much done everything I could do. I've done researched my entire family's history back like to the 1700s when they came into both sides of my family when they came to America, and I love famous people in American history. Not so much politicians. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about famous people for other reasons. And I came across these cards on eBay. And I love the old Western days. I love Western outlaw stuff. And I've got some things like in my personal collection, like I've got a deck of Civil War playing cards. I'm a Civil War historian. But I've also recently, not long ago, I picked up a card from Allen and Ginner of Doc Holliday. It was a mini, and I loved it because he was my most famous. He was my favorite, favorite Western outlaw, so to speak, or gunslinger. He wasn't really an outlaw; he's more of a gunslinger. Right here's another one: Allen and Ginner, Wild Bill Hickok. And for those of you that love history out there, Wild Bill Hickok. There's one of the most famous gunslingers that ever lived. One of the fastest men with a gun back in his day. Tell you a little bit about Hickok that I know. Wild Bill Hickok actually served in the Civil War on the northern side. He was a scout in the Yankee Army. After the war, he became a drifter, a gambler, and a lawman in some towns. Made a name for himself as a lawman, and he already was known, made a name for himself in the Civil War for being a great marksman with a gun and a great scouter. But he made a name for himself as a lawman, going to towns that were new towns, new up-and-coming towns out west, that out in the Deadwood, Dakota area, the Dakota Territory areas. He made a name for himself as being a guy that nobody wanted to mess with. He was so fast with a gun that only the bravest of outlaws dared tangle with him. And a lot of his feats in his life were exaggerated. There's reports that he killed over 30 men, stuff like that. It's known that he killed several outlaws that chose to try to duel with him instead of let him arrest them. But he ended up getting shot in the back of the head at about age 38, I think, or might have been 40. I can't remember for sure. I have to go back and read and look that up. But he was not that old, and he was shot in the back of the head by a coward while he was playing poker. And at the time that he was shot, the hand that he had on him was he had a pair of aces and a pair of eights, and that is why ever since then you hear the slogan "Aces and eights are the dead man's hand," is because that was the hand that Wild Bill Hickok was holding when he was shot in the back of the head. And this next one I got here is a woman, famous redheaded Annie Oakley. Annie Oakley, and I love this card. Annie Oakley, for those of you that don't know, was won I don't know how many contests as a young lady with her marksmanship with a rifle. This girl could shoot a gun with more accuracy than most any men, including military men. And she made a living for a lot of years traveling from town to town, showing off. People would pay to see her show off her skills with a gun. And I mean, she could hit targets, that most people, could shoot all day long and never hit, and she could hit it with one shot. She was so good. She learned her skill growing up as a young girl. She was taught how to use a rifle, and she learned her skill rabbit hunting and hunting for food to help her, feed her family. And she's one of the most famous people from the old 1800 Western days because of her marksmanship, superior marksmanship, and the fact that not many women in those days, most women were known for, quilting and being good mothers and good housewives. Annie Oakley was known for being you know, superior than pretty much anybody she ever came up against with a rifle. And this last one I got is not somebody from the Old West, but I got it because it was neat for me. This is Jeanette Lee, one of the greatest pool shooters in the entire world, or billiard shooters, if you want to call it that. And for those of you that's knew me all my life, I used to work in a pavilion when I was young. I got to where I was a pretty good pool shooter myself. Used to shoot in a lot of tournaments when I was younger. I was really into pool. I had a couple of nice pool cues, and I finally got out of playing as I got older. You know, you get married, you know, I don't know. I just got out of hanging around the same type of places I did when I was young. But anyway, Jeanette Lee, you can catch her at times on. You can find footage of her on ESPN, and she is one of the best ever in the entire world. Not much that woman can't do with a pool cue or on a pool table. Anyway, all these cards together. The Jeanette Lee, I think I gave like 20 cents for that one, free shipping. They were all shipped together, but I won all these cards from the same seller. Annie Oakley, I got her for like 45 cents, and Wild Bill Hickok was 52 cents. And I don't mind paying that for some cards of people that, to me, have historical value and that I really love. These will never be sold. They'll just go in my own personal keepsakes. And anyway, thank you for watching. As I always say, keep your eyes open on eBay. You never know when you'll find a bargain on something that you really love. Be back again soon with more videos to come.